In North Carolina's highlands, one sign of spring is the fresh green that starts creeping up the mountainsides from the valley. There's a hint of hope in the warming sunlight as folks begin shaking out the long winter. In the Jackson County town of Sylva, not far from Asheville, spring mornings find a town full of hope and promise. Any Saturday morning is likely to see a busy downtown as people from all over the area come to browse the shops or munch on fresh-baked treats. But on this particular Saturday, it's time for Sylva's annual Greening of the Mountains Festival to celebrate spring. It's also a celebration of downtown, sponsored by local citizens and the organization created for revitalization, Sylva Partners in Renewal.
Greening of the Mountains is Sylva Partners in Renewal's invitation to everyone to come out of winter hibernation. This festival is known for its food.
I feel like a snow cone.
It's fun for its children, and the music, it just can't be beat. And it's a fellowship event. People have been indoors for most of the winter. We want them to come out, we want them to get to know their neighbors again, and we wanted to enjoy themselves, have a good time.
Sylva is what I consider a downtown community that is just thriving. It's one of the original business districts that people would come down and be able to get their fresh breads, get good food, be with community.
Annie's is a great place to be on Saturday morning.
Up to about 5 years ago, downtown Sylva was pretty dead. And in the last 5 years, like 10 years in fact, there's a lot of new energy in downtown Sylva.
All this new energy comes in part from new proprietors who have become a driving force in the remaking of downtown Sylva. The new energy on Main Street is evident also along Mill Street. One of the more recently established businesses there has the improbably long, distinctively un-Carolina name of Heinzelmannchen Brewery. Meet Dieter Kuhn, proprietor, who found a need and with the help of his wife Cheryl, decided to fill it.
Growing up in Germany, I've tasted beer even when I was small, and the taste of the beer in Germany is very different than it is here, and I could never find a beer that I liked compared to what I knew in Germany. So I decided just to brew my own.
Holly and I are sisters, and we grew up in Jackson County. And growing up, Main Street was very busy. And for a while, it wasn't as busy, and we saw some, buildings empty. And we decided to put our store here on Main Street because we saw the revitalization of Main Street happening, and we wanted to be a part of that.
The area is close to the National Park and several national forests. We also have Western Carolina University 3 miles away, so we felt like an outdoor store would be perfect.
All the merchants on Main Street have the same vision of what they want Main Street to become. And the new businesses mesh very well with the businesses that have been here for a long time. Holly and I sponsor a climbing wall for the kids and adults. It's very successful and a lot of fun. a lot of people, tourists, a lot of people from the community that normally don't make their way downtown, come downtown for that day and they discover a lot of the new businesses. We've had a lot of people discover our store from the festival just by being here and walking down the streets.
Late at nights when I throw most of the time, and it gets lonely out there. So, plus, I teach school, and a lot of these are faces of kids.
Here we go. But he sneezed so hard with a whooping cough, singing Polly Wolly Doodle all the day. That he sneezed his head and his tail right off, singing Polly Wolly Doodle all the day. Fare thee well, fare thee well, fare thee well, my fairy thing. From off Louisiana for Steve Louisiana, singing Polly Wolly Doodle all the day.
To hold it. I'm really big.
This is our Catch the Spirit of Appalachia quilt. Each square represents a part of our lives.
The enthusiasm remains high in Sylva's downtown, even as night begins to fall. There's hardly a parking place to be found as the warm spring sun gives way to a cool moonlit evening. Folks in these parts most likely will agree that there's no place quite like home. Right here in Sylva.